Hi, Robert Chuckrow here. I'm going to discuss what appears to be a paradox having to do with the intertwining of sung, which is releasing muscle contraction, and neijin, which is expansive strength, inner expansive strength. And these two are yin-yang attributes, components. They're complementary. You need to have both. You can't do Taiji without both, or at least correctly. And it turns out if you, let's say you don't have song, would you be able to get neijin? Chances are no, because song is releasing muscles, so it means you would be using muscles. And if you're using muscles to do a movement, the amount of strength that you're going to do and the amount of tension it produces in your body, even for a light movement, is going to be tremendous. We don't recognize that, but the way the body is assembled is so that we have a lot of movement for small movement of the muscle. That is, the tendon is very close to the elbow. I'm taking the biceps as an example. And that means that if I lift a weight, let's say a 1 pound weight, that's going to create or increase the tension in my biceps muscle by at least 15 pounds. In other words, there's a very large ratio in both directions. In one direction, you get a lot of movement for a small movement of the muscle. The other, you have to use a lot of force in the muscle to be able to get to lift a small weight. So that means that tension of the muscles is going to, and the tendons, is going to mask this subtle neijin, which is very hard to recognize. We have it, we use it without knowing we do. When we breathe, we're using neijin. When we yawn, we're using neijin. When we excrete, by opening the sphincters, we're using neijin. So we have it, but the thing is recognizing it. And if you don't have song, you're not going to be likely to recognize it. Now, let's say you do have song, and you now are doing movements, Taiji movements. Well, guess what? You are not going to be able to sustain that state of sung, because if you don't have neijin, because you are using ordinary muscular strength to do movement. You need to have strength. You can't move without strength. So now you're damned if you do and damned if you don't. So how are you going to ever get neijin? Seems like you can't, but the answer is you can. And this is how it's done, or this is the way to get it. First, you have to know what sung is and be able to achieve that state, at least decently. The best way, I think, is to lie on the floor on a comfortable mat, pillow under your head, and do very small movements as you relax as much as you can. And in doing that, you will become very much more aware of tension in your body and have the ability to relax it. That will help you to have sung. Now, next, do it sitting in a chair. It'll be a little harder, but then you can. And then do it standing. And standing, what you really need to do is recreate the heavy feeling you get when you get out of a hot bath. Or when you get out of bed in the morning, stand for a few seconds, maybe 15 seconds, and feel the weight of the body. And that will calibrate your ability to do sung. So now you have sung. How do you get it in the movements? And for that, you need to have a teacher or some teaching method for you to know what it is, know what it feels like, have experiments that you can do, have exercises that you can do. And if you have a teacher, the teacher, if that teacher has Neijin, can hold out his or her arm, and you feel it. You can feel it. And then the teacher can use contractive strength, and you can feel that. And feel the difference, at least in the other person. And maybe then the teacher can do the opposite with you and tell you when you achieve a state of Neijin. Once you recognize that, then you cultivate it, you recreate it. And over a period of time, you will get better and better at Neijin. But that will also make your sung better, because you will have a better understanding of your body. And it just escalates. And when it does, you'll feel that what you're doing in the name of Taiji is going to be very different than if you didn't have Neijin. The idea that if you just have sung deeply enough, you'll automatically get Neijin, maybe you will. I don't think it's likely. I really don't. I think you have to be taught. One way or another. It could be from a book that you could maybe learn it, but better from a person who has it. Thank you.